Prepare to be amazed.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
The best has yet to come. Oh boy, it's gonna be a long one. Buckle up, brothers and sisters. You're about to get absolutely demolished by the man who thrifts. Let's get to my regular intro. How you doing, everybody? This is Jason, Jake's House of Fun and Video Games, bringing you today Thrift Time and Finds, Volume 49. I cannot fathom that I have made 48 other types of a video. That would be consistency. That would be an algorithm. I've certainly got a lot of folks over the years to come to the channel, subscribe because of this main playlist. It's a lot of fun going out to the thrift. I have a blast. I can't say enough on finding things, whether it's video games, nonsense, action figures, weird stuff, things for the kids, things for my wife Cynthia, things for me. As you can see from that other clip, there's plenty more to come from with that. And we have to explain ourselves here because that is an awful lot of things to go through. So, there was a period of time for 6 months I didn't post videos. If you are looking for an explanation behind that, because I certainly want to take up your time today, look at an update from the house, the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. That will explain it. I'll not go any further on that. We're going to take this bag by bag. I don't have the same amount of room that I had before, or before when I was in, not in the other house, before when I was in Massachusetts. So we're going to take this with stride and really try to get through this. Very overwhelming. But I'm good with overwhelming. I'm good with challenging. And I want to have some fun with you folks. So, listen, if you see something you like, let me know in the comments. You know what I'm saying? And if you see something you don't like, let me know in the comments. You know what I'm saying? I know. Enough with the theatrics. But before we get into the thrifts, the thrifted goods, the archive of the last couple of years of stuff we couldn't get through, I want to show you something else I got recently. Pretty cool, right? Not bad. Just picked this up. And if you remember, I had one of these. And for some reason, as the dogs go completely bananas outside, which is going to happen from time to time, I have 5. You'll have to excuse me. For some reason, this nose wasn't on my other one, and I think I buried it somewhere. But this holds your phone. So I'm playing a game or doing some work stuff. You know, I can multitask. Watch some YouTube or talk on the phone or whatever. I like it. And it also can hold your controller as well. So I think that's pretty cool. Hopefully these are coming up. Other videos in the past I've done with this, I've done an overhead view of every item that I've gotten. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If there's something really interesting that I feel that I can't articulate in the view that I have right now, I'll do that. But this is an overwhelming undertaking, to say the least. So we're just going to rip open bags and see what happens. So what do we got behind door number 1? This is definitely, that's one bag, it's awesome. This has got to be one of the coolest heads I have ever found. I found this, I believe, at a Salvation Army. I can't remember. Like I said, I've had this stuff for so long, waiting for this day, for this moment, for number 49 to reveal it to you. This almost looks like Jason Voorhees, does it not? I mean, let me, if I could figure this out. I can't. I have the mask up there, and I'd have to move the shelf around, and everything would fall apart, and the whole video would go to shit, so we're not going to do that. And maybe sometime it will show up in another one of my funny videos, where I lose my head. What once was lost is now found. Pretty cool stuff. I'm going to try to make this as organized as possible. You will understand by the end of this video exactly what I'm talking about. But we got some random bags, which is cool. I always need some bags. And I'll try to remember if I have anything that I want to give to the kids, because that's always a definite cool thing to go over. So trying to organize myself here, and this is, like I said, this is gonna be. You've never seen me like this. I'm flabbergasted, folks. So this is gonna be a certain undertaking, to say the least. But this right here, pretty cool to add to the collection. Some movies I probably had, some movies I didn't. I've never seen this version of this before, as many of them. Chilling Classics, 50 movie pack. They were all there, I believe, on 12 double-sided DVDs. And as you can see right here, you can pause it if you'd like. There's a ton of movies on here. A ton of horror. This is all horror. 50 horror movies. Like, how could I pass up on this? So, Crypt of the Living Dead, Virus, The Revenge of the Doctor, Horror Express. This is like a great collection. I don't know how I've never seen this before, but it's awesome. Can't wait to dig into that one. Let's see what else we got here. I got to try to keep these separated for who they're for and where they're going. This one right here is a pretty interesting movie. I've never seen or heard anything about it before. Robin Williams is or should I say was rest in peace, an awesome actor. And anytime that I get the opportunity to see something new with Robin Williams, I'm definitely going to take advantage of it. This is called The Final Cut. Looks like a horror or dramatic movie, something like that, a drama. Never seen it before, so I want to give it a shot. And like I said, Robin Williams is an awesome actor. Rest in peace. Now, let's see what else we got here. Okay, cool. I have this on my iPod, but I don't have it on a CD. Clapton's Complete Collection. I don't know what that means. There's no way that this could be all the Eric Clapton songs. He has a ton of them. But it has a ton of good songs. And I don't think you can see this, but behind me, my record player is also a CD player. Sometimes when I'm in the house, because the iPod's normally in the car, not you need to know this, but again, I like to explain things. The record player also plays CDs, so sometimes I like to go back and listen to CDs. I have a whole bunch of CDs. I can get you the giant book that I used to flip in the car. You know, I'm a young guy, I'm not saying this is okay, so don't take any advice from me, but in the car, flipping through the CDs, drinking the medium Dunkin' Donuts, having the butt hanging out of the mouth, taking a look to my left and my right, if I'm going to take a turn and on, picking that great CD to throw on for the rest of the ride. Yeah, I was one of those guys. Try to be a little more conscientious of my surroundings and behave a little better, but I think we've all been there, have we not? The Gorillaz, I've never owned this CD, and I had a few songs from it, I think. No, actually, I don't have any songs from this, but really cool art style. I think the music videos are awesome, and wanted to add it to the collection, so trying to keep this as organized as possible, folks. And now, we're going to get into crazy territory. Well, the table's clear, but it's getting crazy. So, let's see what we have here. We'll go over the VHSs in a sec. This is an easy one. Twice the Buzz, Cheech and Chong Collection. Cheech and Chong's up in smoke, and Cheech and Chong's still smoking. I've never seen this before in a 2-pack. I might own it on VHS. I might own it on DVD. I don't know, but I'm a sucker for artwork. What can I say? And these movies are fantastic. Couldn't say enough about them. So, who doesn't want to add Cheech and Chong? This one right here is VHS I don't commonly see a lot. This is 9.5 Weeks with Kim Basinger. I said that completely wrong, but it's cool. And Mickey Rourke. This is a long, ongoing series from the 90s. Just find these interesting to find in the wild. Sometimes they're pretty valuable, too. Not sure about this one, but it's not one that I see commonly out there. So, it's for a very particular audience, but some of the stories, the camera work, the choreography, I don't know how to say that, you know, the choreographs of the inside the movie what really interests me. And just like to analyze film, I guess that's my thing. I need to bring that more to the channel. I'm no expert by any means, but I think I could put a good sentence or two aside and help you decide whether a video is cool for you or not, or a movie rather. So, something to stay in tune for. Time. Yep, that's the magic word. This one I don't think needs any introduction for any of you film buffs out there. One of the best movies ever released, and very impactful one for the time, and even to today. Casablanca. I've never seen this on VHS before. Saw it a very long time ago. And I like that these are the things that I can appreciate from here. It says the colorized version. Original film is in black and white. So I find that interesting. I remember seeing this in black and white, but not colored. So interesting take. Can't go wrong with some 90s gold. Jim Carrey is riding the waves high. The Cable Guy. It came from Blockbuster in June 16th, 1997. So I don't know how many years that is, but that's almost 30 years ago almost. Off by a few, so I think it's 20-something years old. That's crazy. Great movie. What can I say? Diabolic. Excellent movie. Another one from Blockbuster, 10/21/96. This one is very close to being 30 years old. This is 27 years ago. This was sitting on a Blockbuster, waiting to be rented by somebody. And it was probably sealed, or probably like that, because unfortunately, you know, the obvious things happen. Good movie. Chaz Palminteri is an excellent actor, so is Kathy Bates. Sharon Stone as well, and this other person I'm not too sure, but this is a great movie. Mystery and intellect. This one right here, another timeless classic. It's the original uncut version, and unfortunately, I see some nonsense on here. It'll at least be good on box art if I can't fix it, but It's a Wonderful Life. Original uncut classic. And I believe it's from Good Times. I think it's a Good Times release. Is it? Yep, Good Times release. Can't go wrong with a classic. I think I have this on... I don't have this on Laserdisc. I have Miracle on 44th Street, 24th Street, 21st Street. I don't remember what it was. But that's the first Laserdisc I ever got. Fun facts. Now, we're going to have to take this slow and steady. Because it will win the race for sure. We'll go over some quick and easy ones, and then I'll start getting back to the bags. This guy right here. I mean, do I need to say more? Hopefully if I put some batteries in it, it'll work. This is from Universal Studios T2 in 3D. So at Disney World, I don't know if it landed because Disney World's in Florida. At one point, this was a huge thing when that movie... Actually, it was a few years after the movie came out. When 3D was starting to make its comeback, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And this was sold at the stores. I don't know if it's highly sought after or valuable, but I thought it was pretty cool. And you know, does some crazy things here. Like you got an arm. I remember when I had one of these when I was a very young lad. It was one of those things that almost felt like a Wolverine set of claws. And it had, you put it over you, and you put your fingers inside, and when you put your fingers in these holes that are assorted, like, you know, that would fit into a hand, and as you move your fingers, we'll just say that this is it, the fingers on the actual, the actual toy would move with you. I think that's pretty cool. But I've never seen this before, and it's just something cool and silly, and I don't know what I'll do with it, but I guess we'll have to figure that out. This one's a more practical use kind of thing. I already tried it in the store that I got it at, if I remember correctly. It's a little loose. Probably could try to tighten it up a little bit, but it's called the Slop Hill. I'm not even kidding. I'll try to let you see that. Beats me. But basically, this is kind of like the other things that I've shown you or haven't shown you, I can't really remember, for the cameras. So what it can do is it can attach to things. Bada bing, bada boom. You can kind of put this anywhere and adjust it accordingly, and listen to that, huh? Yeah, it's like a mouth. It's going to eat ya. Ah! I'm just kidding. Complete joke. Let's get serious here. It's a professional channel. Something cool, and another accessory to when I go beyond the game room to some pretty cool things that maybe I might want to do at some point, or just some personal videos of family, or just acting like a fool and trying to make somebody else laugh. That I will not put on the Tubi, but that's very few and far between. So that's a practical thing. So I've got one practical thing out of this whole thing so far. So next, I hope this comes out really good. But see what we got in here. So we got a good old Wolverine. Missing the claws. It sucks, but this thing's normally $20. I think it's pretty cool. Actually still has the air, surprisingly. And I have some other figures around here. I have a Venom, a Spider-Man, and a Carnage. I don't really know where they are. They could be in the garage of Misfit Toys right now, but something cool. So I could dig it. And let's see what else we got here. Alright. Getting there, folks, getting there. We'll just leave that for that stack right there. Make life a little easier for us. Cool. Okay. I don't know exactly what that is, but it looks really cool. This one right here is Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. It's a game. Don't find them very often, I'll tell you that. So I don't know where exactly this was from, but is it complete? It's complete, folks. I don't know if I already have this, but definitely something I'll scan in. I don't think I have many games in here, and if I do, I didn't know about them. HD DVD. I collect these every now and then. I have a player, and I definitely want to do a video at some point on the similarities or differences between Blu-ray and the HD DVD. I never got into it. It was something that came and went pretty quickly, but I like the red cases, and I like some of the artwork on it. Not very different from their Blu-ray releases, but some of them, I believe, there may be a few, very few, that weren't ported to Blu-ray. So Laserdisc, you find that a lot with VHS and possibly Beta as well. I don't know much about those, but this right here is The Inside Man. Great movie with Denzel Washington, Clive Owen, and Jodie Foster. Put that aside. I don't think this needs any introduction, but I've never seen this set before. This is the unrated 2-disc set of Aliens vs. Predator. I very well may have this movie, but again, it is a variant. I've not seen this before. It is NTCE, so that means it's America, it's the United States. But it just looks awesome. I mean, look at that artwork, huh? It's great. Might as well see if both the discs there, and we got the little booklet in there, which is pretty cool. But again, we'll get into further details of what I plan to do with a ton of stuff that I've gotten over the years, and conversation for another day. So if I have doubles or something, you probably guess what I'm going to do with it. Anyway, moving on. VHS time, folks. I have to look to make sure these are still good. They've been sitting around for a long time. This is a science fiction classic version of The Fly. Again, most of the time I would get these for 99 cents. Awesome movie. This is not the 80s remake. This is the actual original, which I don't remember if I saw or not. So, the monster created by Adams Gone Wild. Not Adams like Adam, but Adams, as in ATOMS. Pretty cool. Glad to add that to the horror collection for sure. Let's see what else we got here. I got a sealed, I'm not really a fan of sealed, but a sealed copy of Good Will Hunting. I didn't have this on VHS. And will I open it? I don't know. Probably. I have no reason not to, but I think that's pretty cool. And this movie came out when? 1997. This has been sealed since around that time. It's a long time. Must have just been sitting around. Somebody was like, I'm done with it. That's fine, because now I got it. This one right here is Chill Factor. Not a lot is said about Skeet Ulrich other than Scream, but he's actually in a lot of different movies. Cuba Gooding Jr. is in this one as well. This is a pretty awesome action-packed movie. I believe it's partial action, partial comedy, so pretty cool. No complaints. Another sealed one, Dunham's Reef. I'm trying to see who's in this. This is a John Wayne movie. This is in 1963, so this is one of his last movies that he made. I believe he stopped making movies in the 70s, or maybe before that, because he passed away. So, and this sticker right here, I mean, you don't get to see that anymore. Great movie, great price. Has the official Paramount Pictures sticker on there. It's fantastic. So, don't know if it'll stay sealed, but we'll see. This one right here is In Too Deep. It's an awesome movie from the 90s, I believe it was. Can't find it right now, but I believe this is either 90s or an early 2000s movie. Any movie has to deal with police officers and the struggles of doing the right or wrong thing, I find very interesting. That's why I'm a huge fan of The Shield. If you haven't checked out that series, folks, you should definitely check it out. It's fantastic. My favorite TV show of all time. Hasn't been trumped, never will be. Sons of Anarchy, Breaking Bad, Sopranos, there's a ton of them that are up there. That is the one that I could watch a bazillion times, which I have already. Episode 1, Season 1, to Episode 13, Season 7. I've done it a bunch of times. Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg. I saw this a long time ago, and this is from April of 2002. It's right around the time that Blockbuster was on its way out. Redbox was there, Netflix was coming up and running, and the VHS scene and the movie renting scene changed. I think around that time there's still, where Blockbusters are around for a long time, I don't think there's any more of them. So this one right here is for my son. I thought this would be a good movie for him. It's called Dunstan Checks In. I remember seeing it, I believe. I could be wrong. And then Space Chimps. Which I think is pretty cool. I was watching a good movie. I don't know what Space Chimps is, but I remember Dunstan Checks In. I think that is from my time. I'm not sure, but we're going to put that over here so we don't forget. That's for the boy, not for me. Right here, this one is going to be for my daughter Haley. This is Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Not the unrated version, not the director's cut or anything like that, but an interesting film nevertheless. Does it capture the same elements and feelings and just wow factor of the first one? No. But definitely something good to see and maybe bring your own opinion to it. So I have to pile for both the kids now. I can tell it's going to be a crazy video. But hey, listen. We're definitely going on this one of the day. For sure. This one right here. I think this movie needs no introduction. I think I either lost this or sold it at one point in time. It's waiting. And if you want to know why you do not make the people that make your food mad, this is your movie to go. It's comedy. Ryan Reynolds got a bunch of people in it. Annie Milonakis. Yep. Right there. Need I say more? Fantastic movie. Great laughs, for sure. And then we've got some pretty big hitters for the VHS collection. Got Pitch Black. I liked the first one. I thought it was a great idea. I think there was another one after that. It was okay. And then there's the Chronicles of Riddick, and it just kind of went all over the place. At least they didn't get into Fast and Furious territory, which is okay. They're good movies, but, you know, for me, if I catch them, cool. I like the first two. And then I got back into it when it was, instead of Fast and Furious, it was the Fast and Furious. I think it was the fourth one. And watched a few of them after that. But again, lots to discuss there, right? Lots of opinions there. This one right here, I've never owned before. It's a double pack VHS. You know I love my VHSs. As I almost drop it, it is Pearl Harbor. Great movie. And very important part of history, for sure. We're already getting overwhelmed, folks. This one right here is another great one. I love the way that this looks. Fantastic movie. Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins. Meet Joe Black. VHS edition, double pack. You needed 2 VHSs to get this movie on. I believe the DVD version and the Blu-ray version, if it's available, only required 1 disc. So, what do we got in here for some special editions? Making of and interviews with the cast. So, pretty cool. Just love the way that VHS looks. It wants to come out, but it's not going to. And last in this bag is Schindler's List. Another extremely well done movie about an unfortunate part of history. But history is very important. Sometimes we shouldn't repeat history, right? So, definitely something you should check out if you haven't. To get educated on the past. To do better in the present and the future. Wow, PSA announcement right there. This one is going to be a strange one. Because I don't even know what the hell it is. It's been so long. If I remember correctly, I saw this. And it had a bunch of cool things in it. And I said, why not? Little tiny things. That may be something I'll kind of do an overhead view on. I don't care for this thing. I don't know what the hell it is. It's some sort of pocket for your pencils or something. Or bag, whatever. But that'll be something I'll put to the side, and we'll go more in depth with, I think, because I can't articulate that very well from this angle. Let's see here. Quick and easy one. Are they any easier? I don't know. That's some pretty wild stuff over there. We've got Monsters Brawl. It's the fight of the living dead. This is a ringside ticket you will not want to miss, according to twitchfilm.com. Thank you, Twitchfilm. Appreciate that. I don't know who that is, but sure. This has Lance Hankerson, Pumpkinhead, Man's Best Friend. Can't wait to find that on VHS. Such a great movie. And Kevin Nash. So this looks like a parody of the zombie genre. There's Jimmy Hart in it too. Looks like a fantastic movie. It even looks like it mixes some wrestling in it too as well. This is probably a pretty wild movie. I've never seen this before, so I had to pick it up for sure. This one right here is Louis C.K. Chewed Up. Had some pretty funny specials. Had a good show at one point. Enough said there. Cement. This one just seemed interesting to me. You ever hear of Sleeping with the Fishes? Just made me think of it. Never seen this movie, have no idea what it is, but looks pretty cool. Came from some movie place at some point. Movie gallery played on. Okay, well that's what that was. So a new movie to check out. Like we have 10,000 other ones. This one right here. Sweet. Love the inserts. Silly or not. This one right here is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning. This is for my daughter. She's into horror. And I don't believe she has this, so put that in her pile. It's great. Another HD DVD. You know, if I see it, I can't put it down. This was from the Salvation Army. Surprisingly, it has a tag on it, which is pretty cool. One says 2, one says 199. I have a sneaky suspicion that's from the Massachusetts one. That's how long ago this was. Holy crap. Yeah, it's because it was departed I got it because I didn't have a HD DVD player at the time. But why am I just looking at it? I might as well explain it to you. No, I'll show it to you. The Departed. If you want to see a real good movie, there you go. I don't have to say anything about this. Whether you're into the history of Boston and certain parts of it, which are good, bad, ugly, in between, it's history. And this is based on another movie that did the same formula, but that movie was not based on the Irish mob in the 70s and 80s and early 90s until it fizzled out. So definitely something to check out. Absolutely love this movie. That's 2 HD DVDs were added to the collection. Pretty cool. This one right here is definitely for my daughter because I don't have it. She's a huge Final Fantasy fan. I thought this movie was really good. This is the 2-disc special edition, so I believe that I think this is the one where let me see here. I don't know if this is the one or not. There's a version of this that actually re-edits the film because there's some parts of it and very confusing and just could have been done better. And I think this is the one if it's not, but she doesn't have it either way. So pretty cool stuff. This one right here is a horror movie. It is called Clash for the Beast. No idea, but it looks scary and it looks awesome. So you know what the House of Fun and video games. I love me some horror. Right? Another bag down. Let's see what we have behind bag number 57. How it feels right now. I'll leave that till after. This one right here is a movie I've never seen before. It has Alec Baldwin in it, Terry Hatcher, Eric Roberts, Kelly Lynch. This is called Heaven's Prisoners. Seems like a pretty interesting movie. Some sort of drama movie. I like Alec Baldwin as an actor. And it's sealed, which is really strange. But hey, I'm down with it. Looks like a pretty good movie. Right up my alley. This one is an interesting one. Because I think I found... what did I find? I think I found the 90210 soundtrack at one point. I think I did. This is the Melrose Place soundtrack. Don't see that very often. And those two shows, although very different, they shared some different actors. And in the 90s, that's kind of what was on late at night when you were supposed to be in bed after doing your schoolwork, getting ready for the next day. I was up watching these shows because I found them interesting. And it was a sneak peek into a glimpse of the adult life that I didn't know existed. But at some point I would realize not exactly the same. So, dramatic pause, I know. Got that movie voice going on here. And we've got Bad Blood. So I believe this is a WWE pay-per-view from 2004. Don't see these very often, so they're in good condition. I definitely pick them up. You know I love my wrestling. And let's see what the main event was. The World Heavyweight Championship title was on the line. Chris Benoit versus Kane. Hell in a Cell match. Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. The Game. The King of Kings. Better be careful for that. Funny story. I got called out and completely off the cuff here. Off the train tracks for a moment. I got called out by YouTube in one of my first videos because of a noise I made that replicated the noise from Friday the 13th theme song. And it was me, and I could do it pretty well. And they thought I was using that, and I wasn't. I just found it funny, so gotta be careful with that stuff. Just something to point out there. This one right here is, this movie is called Original Sin. I think it's a really good movie, well written. It's got obvious things going on here, but it has an interesting message, and I do appreciate Mr. Antonio Banderas, and Angelina Jolie is a pretty good actor as well. This right here is sealed, and it's from HMV. I don't know what that is, but it was $2.15 or $8.99 at one point. Fantastic movie that I didn't have, Lord of the Flies. I believe that this movie, if I'm not mistaken, came out in the 80s or 70s. But if you haven't seen this movie, definitely give it a watch. It is definitely an awesome movie for sure. So, had to add it to the collection. This one's a special one. I don't know if I have it on Laserdisc DVD. I tried to hunt this down on VHS for so long. This is one of those movies that I rented a ton of times, and it has the recommend this adventure to your friends label right there, which I think is pretty cool, because you see those on Dimension Films, and it doesn't have its top, so it was a rental at one point, which I'm okay with, but this is a fantastic movie, and it is called White Squall with Jeff Bridges. This movie is one of my favorite movies, along with Phenomenon. I mean, I can't really say I have a favorite movie because I'm just a huge film buff. I love film. I love analyzing, like I said before. So this movie just hits differently for me. I remember going to the movie theater in, I want to say it was 95. And it's one of the movies I watched with my grandmother. She was a huge Jeff Bridges fan. She watched a lot of his dad's movies when she was younger, way a long time ago, in the 60s, something like that. 50s maybe even. And this movie is based on a true story, and it's from Ridley Scott. And what did Ridley Scott do? Alien. Win-win either way. Fantastic movie. If you get a chance and you haven't already, definitely see it. And we'll go on to another bag. Got some more to go. Not too bad. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, that change. I hate change. Alright. This was one I was waiting to find for a while. And every time I found it, although it doesn't have its little... Oh, it does have its paper thing, cool. It has this little booklet. Couldn't ever find it in good condition. I was missing a disc, but... This is the Macho Man Randy Savage Ultimate Collection. So this has some of his best matches on here. And a few other things as well. Finally adding that to the collection. I've seen a collector's set that is in an FYE that's near me. I know, those actually still exist. I was shocked to see that too. But it's a pretty significant amount of money. I'm just waiting for it to go to like $10 at one point. Then maybe I might think about it. This one right here is with Ray Liotta and Linda Florentino. She was also in Jade. I think I got a DVD of that at some point. Or yeah, I think it was a DVD or a Laserdisc at one point. This is called Unforgettable. And again, love Ray Liotta. Linda Florentino is an amazing actress, and I'm sure it's a really good movie. Love movies. This one, I think I've only seen once, and I did not actually see the movie, or I caught it on TV or something. This is a straight-to-DVD film, I'm sure. This had Dominic Purcell, An Elimination Game. I do not know, much about this movie, but I love Prison Break. It's a fantastic series. They had to come back for one season after it was all said and done. They seem to be having a habit of that, comebacks and remakes and remasters. I mean, this is just crazy. There's so many different versions of things, like Mortal Kombat, for example. You got Mortal Kombat 1, because we have to differentiate, because there's a bunch of them. And then you have the Mortal Kombat 1, that's 2023. It's come out in September. And you have Mortal Kombat 2 coming out in the movies. But you have Mortal Kombat 2 Annihilation that came out in the 90s. That's where things get crazy. Just like with the Halloween resurgence with the Blumhouse films. It's just Halloween 2018, Halloween. And you got Halloween 2, but not Halloween 2 of 83. Or 82, whatever it was. 81. Sorry, 81. So, something cool. This one I have never seen before. And this is another one of those movies with Sharon Stone. I'm a huge Sharon Stone fan. This is a pretty decent movie. It's got a good story with it. And it has CB840, I think the band was. And it has a rendition or a interpretation of Fools Rush In, which I found was interesting to this movie. I don't know, it's just an interesting song, like a theme. It's not a theme song, but it's a song that's associated with this movie, and that is Sliver. And that is the unrated version. So typically with this movie, you will see the R-rated version, mostly on VHS. I've seen it in the wild and DVD. I've never seen it on Blu-ray. That's the first time I've ever seen the unrated version of it, so pretty interesting. But on VHS, I have seen the unrated version, so let's get the big one out of the way, shall we? Holy Moses. what we got in here? This is like a guess who. This right here, we have Alien Resurgence. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was a good movie. Did it compare to the first three? People are debatable about the first three, but I mentioned this many times before. For the third one, I challenge you to watch the director's cut. I feel that you'll have a different feeling, or at least a different respect for that movie with that cut. Very well edited, and things that, not completely all of it, there's still elements of the story that are certainly missing from what it was with the first two incarnations of the Alien series, but definitely give it a check. This is just a good movie. It's a fun one. It was an interesting experiment. It didn't go very far. I think they're trying to bring it back again, but I don't know. We'll see about that. So this one, I've never seen this movie before. I don't know what it is. Something to me attracted me to this other than the obvious, but I can't remember what it was. I think that this is actually kind of valuable, but don't quote me. I'm not 100% sure on it. It is, it looks like it's Spanish. I don't speak fluent Spanish, but the back is English, so definitely something I have to put to the side and check onto. I think that's why I got that, but again, a while ago indeed. I've been debating on whether to go out to the 4K complete collection of this or not. I couldn't find it. I found it once. I should have just pulled the trigger on it. Or Laserdisc would be an awesome thing for this. This is Star Trek, the motion picture, the original, director's cut, or director's edition. Widescreen, of course, with these type. And it's got 11 deleted scenes from the 1983 TV version. What did I tell you about watching movies on TV? Movies on TV may make a movie even better for you. And then you'll look at it and have a Mandela effect, I think it's called, where something is in your mind but isn't in reality. TV versions will do that to you. So the TV version of this, which I didn't know was different, there's scenes in it. So there's a scenes from 5 additional scenes for the 79 theatrical release and 11 deleted scenes from the TV version. So the thing with TV versions, just kind of give you a quick recap of what that is. I've done it many times before. When you put a movie on TV, and it's not so much nowadays because you get the streaming services and everything, but when you do, you are allotted a certain amount of time, and you need to fill that time with something. So typically, a lot of times back in the day, what they would do, because commercials are different now, it's a lot of nonsense that I don't 100% get, but I got a pretty good idea about. So in particular with Halloween, a lot of cuts had to be made to the film, whether it was violence, whether it was a nude scene or whatever with I can't remember her name right now, but the girl that gets it with the phone cord. What was I saying? Yep, sorry, lost my train of thought for a sec. Certain things like that, swearing, just certain scenes that just have a little bit more violence than they should have. They have to fill that time back then, and I don't know if it's like this now, with a certain amount of time, because commercials, with the amount of commercials we have versus the movie length, like that's kind of how they work out and making money. I'm guessing somewhere around those lines. They had to fill it with some time. So you can't just put on more commercials because there's only a certain amount of commercials for the film. So what they would do sometimes is make footage for the actual movie and put it, and that's all you would ever see. So people that are actually recording things on VHS at the time through their VHS recorders would have a different version of the film that's never been seen before. That is the same with Halloween 1. Halloween 1978, they're going to be very careful with that. And Halloween 2 has added scenes to the TV version as well, and so does in Star Trek. So I think that is pretty cool. This one right here is a VHS guilty pleasure. Why? Because of Clint Eastwood, and he's an awesome actor. I just watched The Mule recently. Fantastic movie. Definitely on the lines of Gran Torino of really good. You should definitely check that out. But this one is called Tightrope. And it's a big box clam version. I don't like these typically. But this is how videos were released at one point. I'm just not a fan of the clam box. But again, I think that's pretty cool. It's a piece of history. I don't believe I had this on VHS, surprisingly. And it's actually, the other two movies should be in my stack over there. movies that I like to keep and be able to watch every now and then, from time to time. Just like certain movies I like watching on VHS. This one right here is, well, okay. This one right here is got one of those. Oh wow, this is really cool. You got to see this. One of the little pamphlets, right? Look at that. That's not what I was looking for. The snap, the quick snap. Back when these things were huge. And then that type of photography went away. And then all of a sudden, over the years, it has come back in roaring force. I just think that's crazy. But again, remakes, the same conversation. We're going to deal with that in a sec. Batman Forever, not a very fond movie for a lot of movie goers and people who love watching Batman. I appreciated it. Again, this was one of those movies that I believe I saw at my grandmother, and definitely those memories I hold very special. And I liked it. There's a Joel Schumacher director's cut of this, and I heard that recently Kevin Smith was able to view that. Now, whether they'll do the same as they did with Zack Snyder's Justice League cut and other director's cuts over the years, that they'll actually release that because it's a work print version. So the work print version, at least to my knowledge, it doesn't have all the effects in it. It's missing some of the music. Some of the dialogue's different. The music could be completely different. Scenes are completely different that they cut out. I think that's really cool. I got to do more research on that. But, I'm trying to not have that happen again. But, yeah, Batman Forever. How could you go wrong? I didn't have that. I don't know how I didn't. And moving on. Juice. Any movie with Tupac Shakur. I'm a huge fan of his movies and of his music. I was a diehard Tupac fan back in the 90s. I think that his message is powerful and still heard to this day of the struggles that he went through and the trials, tribulations, and good times as well. He is a tremendous, fantastic actor. If you want to have a movie introduce you to Tupac Shakur, Juice is definitely it. It was his first official film. And that's interesting. It has the booklet, which is cool. We have In Too Deep on DVD now as well. So, awesome. Again, this is what happens when you store things, right? This one right here is an interesting movie. I think I will appreciate this more now than I did before, but this is The Master of Disguise. This is a movie that didn't do so well at the box office, but it has Dana Carvey. He was Garth in Wayne's World, Saturday Night Live skit, and then, of course, the two movies that preceded it. Do we want a third one? I don't know. I don't think it's in the cards. Third Ghostbusters movie. Let me clarify that, because that would be incorrect, because that would be the 2016 incarnation of Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters Afterlife movie, which is considered to be the true third sequel in the Ghostbusters franchise, because the 2016 one was very different and didn't have much to do with the Ghostbusters lore other than the obvious. Just something to think about with that, for sure. I appreciate Dana Carvey's line of work. He doesn't have many movies and doesn't pop up very often, but man, can he do a hell of an impersonation. So, I think I'd give this one a try again. Why not? And this one's a special one. I already have it. But I'm going to give it to my daughter. She's a horror fan, and why shouldn't she have a VHS that represents an awesome series that she truly likes? Scream. Need I say more? I could sit here for hours and talk about this film. It's absolutely fantastic. And then, what else we got here? Got some old VHS from the 90s. Strange one, I know. I wouldn't typically get this, but I don't typically see it out there. And I've got some other ones up there. You got some Teddy Ruxpins. You got Swamp Thing. It's apparently a very expensive one, too. And it's like 5 seconds long, along with a He-Man I have as well. Turtles. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Used to watch this a lot as a kid. And just brings back great memories of hanging out with my mom and stuff. So cool to add that to the collection. And we've got a couple of CDs. Beatles, Past Masters Volume 1. I'm a pretty avid Beatles fan. My mom's a huge Beatles fan. I still have some of her 8-tracks from her days in the 60s and 70s when that was a thing. Might be something to go over at some point. Actually, playing it will be difficult because I don't know if I have speakers for it, and of course the obvious copyright issues. So, still pretty cool to take a look at if you've never seen one before, but glad to add that to the CDs. And these ones had some great songs on them. And I couldn't say no, so you got WCSX 94.7, Detroit's Classic Rock Channel. Classics Volume 1 and 3. Apparently I wasn't good enough to have 2. But I'm curious if this was... I mean, it has a year and date on it, or a year on it, so I don't think it was something that was in that radio station, but I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. Got some great tunes on this. So again, like I explained about the CD player behind me. I got some comic books. Might try to do a little in-depth look at this. I mean, I saw a stack of comics. I'm not a huge comic book fan, but I'll show you. And I can appreciate comics, don't get me wrong, but the things that I truly appreciate is I don't want to rip this because it's extremely fragile. It looks really old. Is the ads on it and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. So maybe I'll just try to do a little sneak peek on that, or better view of that during the video if I can make some time for it. But I just got a ton of them. Got some Spider-Man ones, which is awesome. I never really see Godzilla, so that's definitely one that sticks out to me. Spider-Man with the Green Goblin. You can't go wrong with that. That's pretty cool. Amazing Spider-Man. Can't go wrong with that. And again, another Hulk. So maybe that'll be something I'll do a more in-depth look at, like I said. I'll check it out. This is a pretty interesting find. It is called a DV Cam. Now, I don't know what this is, but it has some decent resale value on it if it works. But if I'm not mistaken, that could play that type of format, which I don't know exactly what it is. So digital video cassette recorder. So in some of my previous jobs, I had to deal with recordings, cameras, and VHSs, because that's how we used to record footage in retail back in the day before we went digital. I wonder if this has something to do with it, but either way, I looked it up. It's got some decent value on it, so there might be something to think about, as we continue on with our journey, which we'll be talking about much later. And if you know anything more about it, please let me know. I've just never seen one before, and I found it really interesting. That's another bag gone, which is awesome. And this one right here is a Batman and Superman video. It's just sitting there. It looks a little beat up. I don't think we had any issues with... Nope, we don't have any issues with old moldy there. I've never seen this before, and it's from the 90s, obviously. I believe it was. I can't tell. It's 9 minutes long, and maybe it's something just cool to just pop in the VHS player. I have a lot of those other places, so... Alright, awesome. So, where do we begin? Oh, this one for sure, definitely. Folks, at one point, I found it. The $3.99. The Good Luck Bear. From 1982, 83? I think it was from 83. So it's a year before I was born. So this is almost 41 years old. Good condition. Doesn't have a lot of resale value, but again, I got a thing with Care Bears. It was a show that I watched a lot when I was a young person, and brings me back memories of my mom. So that is why. And I don't know where I'm going to put it, but again, that's just a very nostalgic piece for me. And let's see what we got here. And let's see what else we got here as we continue on the journey. This, if I'm not mistaken, but this was a long time that I got this. This is something that has some pretty significant value to it, I believe. I could be wrong. Is this something necessarily that interests me? It'd be something crazy and cool to put in the game room, but This is in really good condition, and I believe this is a pretty valuable piece, or at least get us a couple of bucks. So definitely something cool. I don't know exactly where this is from, and that print is really small. Annie. It was from Annie at one point, but that just looks amazing. And it's authentic. It has the little tag there. Definitely stuff. Great conversations to come for a lot of this stuff for sure. Which is the Eastwick. I believe that's a comedy. There's Jack Nicholson in it, so looks funny. That's why I got it. This one right here is The Mummy. Boris Karloff. What can I say? You can't go wrong with that. Finally, I've completed the set of Highlander movies, I believe. Highlander Endgame on VHS. Not the best installment, but a pretty good one. I can appreciate it. Here's some horror movies. I have Evil Dead 2, I think. I do not have Army of Darkness. And now I do. It's going on the horror shelf, folks. These movies are great. This one right here is Dark City. Very interesting, very different film. I think I have an unrated director's cut version of it. I'm not sure though. I very well could. I'm just not entirely sure about that. This one is The Last Castle. This is a great movie with Robin Redford and James Gandolfini. You may know him as Tony Soprano, and it is sealed. I don't know if I'll keep that seal. It doesn't really have any financial value that I know, but you never know. This one right here is Richard Dreyfuss, John Lithgow, and Linda Hamilton in a movie called Silent Fall. Linda Hamilton is an awesome actress. Richard Dreyfuss is pretty good too. So, adding it to the collection. This one is another one of those guilty pleasures. Epic movie. I think these movies certainly had their place. Are they as relevant as they were when they came out and they were huge? Debatable. But still funny to revisit. Twisted with Ashley Judd, Sam Jackson, and Andy Garcia. Again, some great movies I've seen over the years that I don't typically see out in the wild too often, so I definitely thinking the best out of it. This one right here definitely has some value to it. We got it in the bag. This is a CD player. These could get you some pretty good pennies. Surprisingly, it's a thing that we don't use anymore because we got the streaming things, but people still love to buy these, so something to keep in mind. Full Metal Jacket. Need I say more? A fantastic movie from Stanley Kubrick. And last but certainly not least, a surprise. I think I found all these at once, these horror movies. You never see horror on VHS. It's very sought after. Hellraiser, I already have this, but I do not have this version of the cover. And there's a double pack as well that has two of these. It has a lot of special features on it. I've yet to see that in the wild, but that's the cover. It would just have two. So, hey, add another horror to the collection. Absolutely. How could you not? I hear some change of jingling. Let's see. We have here. We got some gaming stuff, surprisingly. I gotta get all that change out of there. This one's it wasn't even open before, and I just thought it was a cool piece of history. I probably, oh no, it is open. Is it open? Yeah, it's open. Never mind. This is the Battlefield 2 demo for PlayStation 2. I don't see these very often. Not a lot of value, but again, I think that's pretty cool. Only 2 things for video games so far. Need I say more? National Lampoon's. No, it is not the one with Chevy Chase. It is National Lampoon's Senior Trip. Sorry, 407 beers ago, they came, they saw, they passed out. This movie's hilarious. It has a lot of different actors in it, and it's just a. There's a lot of National Lampoon videos movies I watched, and I kind of one and done. This one actually just stuck out to me. I snuck in to see it in the movie theaters, I believe, in the 90s, so R-rated movie, you know. Not that we never did that before. Tommy Chan and Far Out Man. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't think that it's Cheech and Chong. I don't think it's that character, but I have never seen this, and the cover got it for me. He's a visitor from another time. The 60s. I'm not lying, that's what it says, so that's why I got it. And what did I just say? 90210, the soundtrack, right? I had it at one point, because I did get it at one point. Yep, that's a 90s gold right there. It's another CD to add to the collection. Lake Placid 2, unrated. Things about these unrated versions of these movies, as we get closer to the times we're in now, like where I'm getting movies, unrated movies really only add, most of the time it's only like between 2 to 5 minutes of extra footage, angles, things like that. I like a movie like Alien 3 director's cut, where it adds a significant amount to the story and it's not unnecessary nonsense. So something to think about, definitely for a future video to get into things like that. This one right here is definitely for my boy. He loves Toy Story and he's got them all now on Blu-ray. I always wanted to see the third one. I know there's another one that came out as well. I seen the first two, but the third one was, you know, as I got older or whatever. So something to think about. This one right here is A Quiet Place. This is a pretty fairly recent release, and I got it on Blu-ray for $2. Better than 20. I will add that to the pile. It's the only Blu-ray I pulled out so far. This one is Who Murdered Joy Morgan. It's Kim Basinger, Robert Culp. That's two movies from Kim Basinger. And I don't know what this is. I've never seen this before. It's from the early 90s. And it might be one of those one-and-done movies. But, again, I appreciate her as an actor. I think she does a fantastic job at her craft. This one right here is from Steven Spielberg, another classic, Empire of the Sun. I have never actually seen this on VHS before, except in the video store. So I've caught this on TV a few times. Good movie. Definitely want to add to the collection. This one's sealed. This one will not be removed. This one I'm definitely going to keep. It brings me back to a different time watching this movie, and it is Goodfellas. How can you go wrong with that? And just look at that art cover. Fantastic. Get back on the train. All right. And we'll dig into another bag of goodies. We're going to take from the left pile this time. Because why not? This one right here is an interesting one. This is obviously a bootleg, but it has some tracks on it that I have never seen. And I don't think I've gone over this in many videos, but I did say it in this one that Tupac, I was a huge Tupac fan. I'm also a huge Notorious B.I.G. fan, and 90s gangster rap is definitely my forte. I love it. And the interesting thing with these things is that some of these songs may have been released on, you know, his last album that they, you know, put out way after his death. Not Life After Death, but there was Born Again, and then there was the duets, the final whatever. But there might be some original music on here where they took the excerpts from those and mixed them with other people, or just mixed it and made it sound better. Because I have a lot of Tupac CDs that are like that, where you get to hear the original version before it was done over and edited and all this other stuff. And, you know, we have in one of the CDs that Eminem produced for Tupac, I think it was Pac's Life, I think that's what it was called. You have him here saying the words 2005. That kind of bothers me because he can't say that. I mean, could he have said at one point? Maybe. But clearly, you know, they can, you know, make the voice say whatever it wants or whatever. So it's just interesting to take a stroll down memory lane. There was an Eminem CD that had a version of My Name Is that I've never heard before, and it's not available anywhere else. And unfortunately, that CD no longer work. But it's things like that I find are interesting pieces of history, official or not. So definitely something I'm interested into listening to. And, you know, sometimes they take words out. Sometimes they rearrange the song. So something cool to think about. This is a cool one here. It's Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat on VHS. This is something that came out a long time ago. This is from 1989, but of course this is a long-running series of books that came out in the 60s, 70s, somewhere around there, and still to this day, taken off shelves for a while, I believe, for some reasons we don't have to discuss here, but now I've seen them back out there, so pretty cool. They add that to the VHS collection. Again, Guilty Pleasures. This one right here is A Year Without a Santa Claus. I think this would be something fun to watch with my son. This is something I have some fond memories with as well, with my mom. So that seems to be a growing theme in this. This is a funny movie. You can't go wrong with Jamie Foxx. There's a Booty Call. There's a Guilty Pleasure from the 90s. Hilarious movie. And I have not owned it before. I rented it on VHS a very long time ago. So pretty cool. The Rock. Another classic movie with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. Excellent. Didn't have it on VHS. It's something I want to watch every now and then. Here's one that I didn't have, and again, it's another one of those childhood things. This is a very old one. This is from '86, so I was 2 years old when this was released. And it's a Golden Book video classic release. And although it's different from my other ones, this is a Care Bears. It's got 3 stories in it. My Care Bears movies are barely playing. They've been watched over and over again, and with over time, things break down, things deteriorate, so I try not to watch them too much, and just like it, because it just reminds me of a different time. Nostalgia can be a bitch, but can also be a good thing as well. This is a Fast and the Furious, Fast and the Furious is, I believe, the original, the sequel I was referring to. The Fast and the Furious is the first one. It's called the Tricked Out Edition. Has some deleted scenes in it. I'm curious to see that. I couldn't believe this when this came out. This blew my mind, along with a lot of other people as well. So something cool to add to the collection. This is an extended and unrated version of Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. This is B-Movie, and it's fantastic. Spanish subtitles only, no Spanish audio, in case you were wondering. It has Kurt Russell in it. Kurt Russell is an amazing actor. He's one of my favorites. So, we're getting into the nitty-gritty here, folks. I give you my word. So, we're just going to try to take them out as we can. I think this is a pretty good horror stash that I found, if I'm not mistaken, and it is. I love my horror movies, whether they're B, C, A, F, doesn't matter. I love horror. This is Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory. I've been looking for a movie. This is actually a double feature. Blood Creature and Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory. I've been looking for a movie that this very much resembles. And the only thing I can remember of it, I watched it in 1987. So I was about 3 at the time. And I never forgot it because it scared the living shit out of me. And the only thing I remember is a similar thing to that hand and zombie-looking things eating cats. If you know what that movie is, let me know, because I'm dying to watch it again to see if it still scares the shit out of me. How I remember that is beyond me. That is, wow. That is about 36, 37 years ago. Holy crap. But the mind is a wonderful thing. Good or bad sometimes. Dungeon of the Horror, another cool horror movie. I mean, we just I remember this day pretty vividly, and we just knocked it out of the park one day with a ton of horror movies. Some of these might have some value with it as well. This is a Trauma release, and Lloyd Kaufman runs the company. It was very dominant in the 90s. Toxic Crusader. What are the other ones there? Surf Ninja Nazis, I think, was one of them that really sticks out to people. Tromeo and Juliet is a extremely funny one. I wish I could find that. I don't think I did this time. But this is the Chosen One with Carmen Electra. It's The Legend of the Raven. No idea. It's a Trauma video, and it's probably hilarious. And we got another dose of Trauma, which is very rare to find in the wild. Made 17 years before Gladiator. Okay. I love that it has Toxie on here as well. I think that's awesome. Now this is called new gladiators. Not a surprise, and then that's the, hopefully the light's not killing you. That's the trauma symbol right on top with Toxie on it. And anything trauma is usually hilarious. And this one is the Teenage Caveman, The Future Sucks. Well, isn't that interesting? Because this movie was released in 2002. I thought this was a really old movie, but apparently it's not. So it's probably extra bad. Probably was on Sci-Fi at one point, but I don't recognize the name title. This one is Terror Creatures from the Grave, starring Barbara Steele. No idea. It looked scary. It's from the 60s, and it is in black and white. It is 61 minutes long. It definitely had a feeling, an aura about the cover with Night of the Living Dead. Could be way off on that, though. Beast from the Haunted Cave and The Brain That Wouldn't Die. Again, these are some classics that you never see out in the wild. Compilations, maybe, but not like in this condition. So it's the Killer Creature double feature. Bucket of Blood, Giant Gila Monster. Like, holy crap. I really knocked it out of the park this time with these horror movies. Screaming Skull, Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman. I have no idea what the hell that is. But again, it's horror, and it's awesome. Track from the Vampire and Nightmare Castle. Again, it's the same type of film release, so it's a double pack. I mean, we just knocked it out of the park with horror movies. Wish it was VHS fully, but, you know, it's okay. Shadow of Chinatown. Bela Lugosi, I'm sorry. So this is a classic movie with a classic actor. And if you don't know who Bela Lugosi is, I don't know what to tell you. Look it up. You'll see. This one's a more recent release. It is Island of the Dead. It had something to do with zombies. It has Malcolm McDowell in there. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but again, I knocked it out of the park with these horror movies this day. 2 blood-soaked DVD features. Hellhole plus She's Got a Thing for You. Jungle Virgin Force. What the hell? Tales of Voodoo Volume 1. No idea, but it looks awesome. So, probably one of those bad movies, so bad that it's good. 7 Doors of Death, directed by Lucio Fulci. This person did the zombie movie, not to be confused with Night of the Living Dead, but Zombie, just with an I. And that was a fantastic movie, so definitely something interesting to say the least. I love that zombie film. I actually have it on 4K, and it hits you different for sure. This is another. Looks like it's all like it's kind of loose in there. Uh-oh. Any loose discs are not good. You know why? Scratches. This one is called Escape from Hell. It is a trauma film, so you know it's going to be funny. I've never seen this one before. Know much about it, so. But it's trauma. It's got to be hilarious. And original uncensored version of Unhinged. I have no idea what this is, but again, I love seeing movies in the original form in which the director wanted us to see it. I think there should be more of that. Alright, moving on. We got here. Got some VHSs, I think. Okay. Alright, and get some change in that. I've got to stop it with this change stuff. I thought this was a crazy find that I found at some point, and some of these things are just mixed in with things I wanted to go over at some point. I didn't believe this was in the package, but this is a silicone skin for the PS5. And I found this for just a couple of bucks. These normally go for like 20, 30 bucks. Makes it so your hands don't slip. I don't think the PS5 compared to the other generation controllers have that problem, but I mean, really? Surprised to even see that, but well, it's 3 things for video games. This one right here is Mickey Rourke, and it is in a movie called Johnny Handstone, it looks like it says. Has a lot of different actors in it. Forrest Whitaker, amazing actor, fantastic in Species and a ton of other movies that he made, or that he was starred in. So, looked pretty cool. A pretty big Mickey Rourke fan. It has a partial sale on it, but it's not fully sealed, and I've never seen this movie before, so we got it now. This one right here is just for the laughs, I guess, because I already have the Scooby-Doos, but I never see it on VHS. And I wonder if it's part of the re-release that was done in the late 90s, early 2000s, because it has the Cartoon Network on it. But it does say Classic Scooby-Doo, so there you go. I don't really like the Cartoon Network crap on it. I would have preferred it without it. But still pretty cool. And this one is a special one, because this definitely, as I look to see if there's any mold on it, because I'm pretty careful with that, but always got to double check. This one is from 1985, okay? I was 1 year old when this came out. I watched Punky Brewster a lot when I was a young one in the 90s. 45 minutes, fully animated. I have never seen a Punky Brewster animated show that I can remember, and I've never seen one on any type of format whatsoever. I think the original series is a complete series on DVD. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not entirely sure. And then, what do we got here? We got some games. I think they might have had some value to it. I'm not sure. Maybe not. This is Big Brain, Wild Academy. Academy, We Degree. Might be one of those fun things like Order Up. It'd be cool to play on a Let's Play Some Video Games, real short episode. This one does have some value to it. And a lot of these do, so keep an eye out for them in the wild. These have, obviously, this isn't something you play on this platform because, with a lot of, music comes the obvious strikes and claims and stuff like that. So, something maybe to discuss at a later time, what I want to do with that. And I think you kind of know where I'm going with that. This one is just, I don't have anything that would work with it. It's just for nostalgic reasons. I never had this format to be able to record. I used to record on a VHS camera that I used to have with my best friend. We used to record all kinds of crazy stuff that we were doing, just hanging out, driving around, listening to music. And every now and then it's good to go back and see the good old days that aren't anymore. As time goes on, we all change, and, it's pretty interesting to look back to the past. But this is a format I never had, and it's a mini DV. So I guess if I ever have a mini DV recorder, I will have the player. And ironically enough, it looks like somebody actually recorded something on it. That could be dangerous. But again, it's just something to put in the game room. I just like putting those little knickknacks in there. Let's see what else we got in here. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty, folks. Let's start off with the easy one. This is a Mickey Mouse pop-up book. Again, there might be some value to it. If not, it's just something I'll keep in the game room and maybe give to my son. And I used to love these books when I was growing up. I mean, this isn't like I saw a Jurassic Park one that I got him that was just out of this world. I saw a Stranger Things one that was really crazy on how they did it. But, this takes me back to a different time. So, again, glorified nonsense? Possibly. But who knows? Who really knows? Wanted by the FBI, running on empty. I think I just saw this VHS not too long ago, too, just floating around. So it's interesting I have it on DVD. This has, looks like Christian Slater, somebody else, and the guy from Taxi. I can't remember his name. So I do remember this movie. Pretty good one. Don't remember all the parts of it. This is an old book, Cruise to Danger. And this came out, I'm trying to see if I looked for a date on this because it's looked so interesting. I've never seen something like this before. Yeah, this came out in 1987. Again, something that may have some value to it. Pretty cool piece of history for sure. It's not always about the video games and movies, folks. This one right here, I have no idea what the hell this is, but it's a ninja. And I had a ninja Lego clock at one point. I'm not too big into these things, but it reminds me of the game Tenchu. Huge fan, and hopefully someday I'll be able to do a Let's Play some video games on that as well. And let's, oop, found our first double. That's what happens when you don't open things up after 50 years, right? Well, not exactly, but you know what I mean. So we've got Color of Night, where Bruce Willis, this is the director's cut. Pretty good movie. Bruce Willis is an amazing actor. Definitely wanted to add it to the collection. Charles Bronson, always love his movies. Brought them up a lot on the channel. This one is Death Wish 2. It's on VHS. Maybe I'll watch this while I'm editing the video. This one right here is a classic. Tom Hanks is a fantastic actor. The Green Mile, folks. You can't go wrong with this. This is one of those movies that he just had hit after hit after hit after hit. Forrest Gump hits different. Green Mile hits different. Castaway hits very different. So, definitely something to keep in mind. And then a additional copy, unfortunately, of Schindler's List, which, you know, at some point we'll figure out what we're going to do with that. This one is an interesting one. I went into the Thrift at one point, and I found a bunch of books, and I'm not a book guy. I have a good amount of books, but not a whole bunch of them. So, there's a very specific reason why I got these. I am missing, I believe, one book to complete the series of Goosebumps, which I have stored, you know, in the next room. And I don't know if one of these are them. I'm not sure. I knew exactly which one it was, and then I forgot. But for very little money, got it a nice little bundle deal. Couldn't go wrong. And it does have some good value to it as well, in case we decide to move it. And that is Goosebumps, folks. Before I do anything, though, I will make sure that if one of these books are the one I've been looking for, and I could finally say that I completed the collection of original Goosebumps. Some of these aren't in the best condition, but again, very nostalgic. These kind of books made me want to read. And big shock, I wasn't a huge reader. I don't know if it's a shock or not, but it didn't really interest me. Unless the topic was interesting, like horror or history. History interests me, still does to this day. But one of these may be the one to be able to complete the Goosebumps series. Single books, of course, only. I just can't remember which one it is. So, why am I afraid of bees? Definitely a video that we will be releasing at some point. Looking into my Goosebumps collection. I think it'd be a cool one to kind of explain why it is and why I have any interest in it. And if you're from the 90s and you were forced to read and you wanted to read something cool, these were the books. Deep Trouble. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on them, but they're awesome. So, pretty cool stuff. One of these is the one, folks. I have a feeling that it is. I just don't remember which one. But just look at these covers. R.L. Stine did a fantastic job writing these stories, and his covers are something different. So, got a few more. We got some really good stuff over the last 2 years. Some of it's recent. Not a lot of it, though, because like I said, I haven't been really finding much out in the wild. So, I just wish I could remember which one it was. I want to go grab my books right now with you, and let's go through it and figure out if this is the one. Do I finally have the complete collection? Never intended to do that, but I did. Because I really like reading when I read everything of Goosebumps, except for that one. I don't remember getting that for some reason. So, when a new one come out, I'd buy it. Be careful what you wish for. Okay? There's a lot of Goosebumps. Good resale value on this. This one right here, Glorified Nonsense. And why did I get it? If you can see, I pull it like that. It's kind of like a puzzle. I love puzzles. And it reminds me of the thing in Hellraiser. Not fully, but for some reason, I just find it to be an interesting piece. Something to put in a corner and be like, what is that? And what's the story behind that? That's kind of the thing with that. And this one, I've been waiting a long time for this guy. I love cookies. I could be considered the Cookie Monster. Not the Cookie Monster, but a Cookie Monster. Who said you could eat my cookies? You know what that's from, and if you do, let me know. Because I love making quotes and bringing up stuff from movies. And apparently, the Cookie Monster opens his mouth. I do believe that this is authentic, and I believe it is something from a long time ago. No, it's not. Sorry. I was confused. It's from 2018, but nevertheless, it's the Cookie Monster. I used to love Sesame Street. I don't have a huge attachment to like I do with certain things, but you know, Big Bird, Cookie Monster, they just stick out to me for some reason. So we got a Cookie Monster now. Where am I going to put him? I have no idea. He's going to probably sit on the duck with Mario and Luigi, the other duck, and then of course my best dad ever pin, because I am. This one here is The American Haunting, unrated edition. Looked like a pretty good movie. I didn't have the chance to actually see it, so I do want to see it because it looks pretty cool. Here's a good one. I have the original on VHS. I did not have the sequel. I did at one point, and I don't know what happened to it. It vanished. This one is RoboCop 2. A lot of people will feel that this is inferior to the original. That's okay. Most sequels will get that reputation. I like it. I think it's interesting. That was a very long 49th episode of Thrift Time and Finds. You saw the stuff I got. Let me know in the comment section down below. What was your favorite find that I found? Was it the Goosebumps? Was it the VHS, the DVDs, the few game things? Could have been the Cookie Monster, Monkey Brewster. This weird thing. Number of things it could be. But as always, let me know in the comment section down below. 242 awesome, amazing folks, like I said in the beginning of the video, have subscribed to the House of Funny Video Games, who come back for every video, commenting, liking, sharing, doing all this other happy horse shit for the House of Funny Video Games, which I truly appreciate. You could do the same too, and if you like this content, there's plenty of other things to choose from as well. The Time and Finds is a huge part of the channel, and definitely with the growth. I truly appreciate it for what it is and what it was and what it may well be in the future. There's things where we look into our eBay buying times, which isn't very often nowadays because just not really after much. eBay Time and Buys Revisited, where we look back to see if your boy here was duped on a purchase or if you got a great deal and there might be a great story associated with it. Let's play some video games. It's the title. We put on some video games, folks, and we play it. Bunch of other different videos on here, some personal videos as well. There's a ton of things, different things for the channel. As I said before, the main reason why I do what I do is because, one, I like to be creative. And two, I needed an outlet many years ago where I could step out of reality in a productive way that didn't affect me negatively. And I think you kind of know where I'm going with that. I'm sorry. I have it, I have to use it. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, that's right. Cynthia, thank you for getting me this gift. This was awesome. She saw this somewhere and she said, that's definitely you. Well, it is. Love the thumbs up. So if you think I deserve it, definitely give me a thumbs up. And other places to find me other than the tube of a billion views, but only one of me and you. Facebook at Jason's House of Fun and Video Games. Twitter at Jason's House of Fun and Video Games. We could take the conversation to a different level, more in depth. We could share pictures. I'd like to see pictures of game rooms. I want to see pictures of your things you found at the thrift. Your grails that you have from the game store. Your grails that you have from when you were younger. It was only $5 and now it's worth $1 bazillion. That happens. You'd be surprised. But folks, I have taken up enough of your time. I look forward to the next video that we get some time to share with each other, have some fun, have some laughs, and that's about it. That's all I get to say. So this is Jason's House of Fun and Video Games. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. The weekend is close, but not close enough, because today would be hump day. Wouldn't it? That doesn't sound right whenever you say it, but you know what I'm talking about. It's Wednesday, I believe. Tune in next time, folks. I'll see you soon. Now, what are we going to do while we edit this video? I think it may be time to revisit one of the best movies of all time, The Green Mile. Take care, folks. We'll see you soon.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. Face on when I chase like that. Yeah, I play so strong with a knife in the back of my swing home.